My name is Raghavendra Gadagkar. I am a professor of ecology and evolutionary biology at the Indian Institute of Science in Bangalore. I've had the great privilege and honor of being a fellow of the Wissenschaftskolleg during 2000-2001 and during 2001-2002. And since then, I have been a non-resident permanent fellow, running away from Bangalore and going to Berlin as often as I can, enjoying the social, intellectual, and physical environment of Berlin and the Wissenschaftskolleg. My initial training was in the field of molecular biology up until my PhD. And after I finished my PhD, I decided to convert what was then my hobby into my full-time research career, and that is to study insect societies. Many species of insects, such as ants, bees, and wasps, and I will show you some images here. Many species of insects, such as ants that you see on this slide, or bees that you see here on the next slide, or wasps, organize themselves into societies that in many ways resemble human societies, and I would say in some ways better human societies. And our goal has been to understand these societies. The main overarching goal of the research is to see whether we can actually understand these insect societies. And more specifically, as evolutionary biologists, we are interested in understanding how these insect societies strike a balance between the need to cooperate and the temptation to be selfish. For most of this work, we use a social wasp. It's called a paper wasp because it makes its nest from paper, which it manufactures by itself. This particular species is commonly present in South India. It's called Rhopalidia marginata. It's a rather beautiful organism with even more beautiful features. I have spent most of my career studying this species. We can study them wherever they occur in nature. We can also bring them to the laboratory. We can mark every individual wasp for unique identification, and we can put them in laboratory cages and stack up the cages. We have even built very large cages where I can introduce a wasp nest as well as a student inside the cage so that observations can be made. Over the years, I have had the privilege of working with a very large number of passionate students trying to understand everything humanly possible about this wasp species. Previously, I have written two books, one called Survival Strategies, Cooperation and Conflict in Animal Societies, which introduces the whole area of research to a general audience, and a monograph called The Social Biology of Rhopalidia marginata, which summarized the first 20 years of my work on this species. Currently, I have one main project, and that is to continue to study the wasp. But in particular, we think we have some understanding of why and when the wasps are altruistic and when they are selfish. The nice thing about this species is the same species and the same individual can either be selfish or altruistic, can either be solitary or social. And we think we have some idea of the factors that push them in one or the other direction. Of course, the real proof of whether we understand this at all is to see if we can tweak those factors experimentally and make the wasp more selfish or more altruistic at our will. And it does look like we are able to do that. So that's the exciting current project in research. I also have some writing projects. I am writing a book since the middle of last year called How to Design Experiments in Animal Behavior, with the subtitle Cutting Edge Research at Trifling Cost. My aim here is to show that almost anyone can create cutting edge knowledge, do cutting edge research, even though they may not have access to a sophisticated laboratory or any kind of funding, by designing clever, simple experiments in the field of animal behavior. I hope to complete this book by the end of this year, and in January I hope to go back to my larger book project, which I began a little earlier, and this is to write a monograph about the second 20 years of my research with this species. And the working title for this monograph is Can We Understand an Insect Society? I plan to ask the question, explain what we have done to try to understand, but let the reader decide whether we can actually understand or not. And I'm very exciting. Today, I signed up a contract to write a monthly column on science for the public, and I'm going to call this More Fun Than Fun. So I think I'm going to have a lot of fun working on all of these projects. Thank you.